Hi, I'm Tom Glassman, and I've been photographing for well over 40 years. And I'm here with a few quick tips on how you can immediately start taking better photographs, whether you're an old pro or you're trying to master a new DSLR for the first time, or even if you only shoot with a cell phone. And the way we're going to do this is to look at two or three different photographs and discuss why they work, why they don't, composition, and more. My goal is to get you in and out quickly so you can spend more time shooting and less time watching me. So let's get started. Welcome back, another episode. Today we're going to be talking about the color white. Now I know what a lot of you are thinking. That isn't white, that's gray. What it is, it's called a gray card. And the reason I'm showing you this is because when your camera goes to take a picture, if you're shooting the Grand Canyon, your camera only sees gray. If you're shooting something white, your camera says, that's too bright, I have to make it gray. That's why if you've ever had shots taken at the beach and they come back really dark, your camera's saying, that's too bright, I have to make it this color. So you have to keep in mind, for those of you who have controls on your camera, how your camera's seeing. That's why you have that exposure compensation dial on your camera with +1 or 2 or plus or -1 or 2 or 3. Just a word of caution, when you use those, probably don't go beyond 2, because at that point you're not, 2 is about the most you can do and still have detail in the white areas or in the shadow areas. Again, this whole series of episodes are designed to help you take better photographs. And one of the techniques or approaches I always use is I look for shapes, patterns, colors, absence of color. In this case, these are open barn doors with the dark area of the inside of the barn there. What I was drawn to was the vertical elements here. A vertical white stripe, a vertical black stripe, and another vertical white stripe. Also, just so you know, these little old-fashioned automobiles are door handles on the barn. Something else I'm always thinking about is, where is the sun? This was actually down at a winery close by my house. I teach a lot of workshops here. And in this case, the sun was off to the left. Now, if you think about it, if the sun were right behind me, it would be lighting up this area here. I'm sorry. And that would be, it wouldn't be black. It would be too light. If the sun were behind this barn, this area would be in shadow and you wouldn't have the bright white. So you wouldn't have the effect of bright white, very dark black, and more bright white. So the lesson here is, I'm always thinking about where the sun is. If there's an instance where there's a shot I want to take and the sun is not in the right position, if I have the chance, I'll come back later and retake the shot where the sun is doing something better. In this case, what I want to show you here is some of the detail. And when this is one of the reasons why you use exposure compensation. I'm using aperture priority to get the sharpest, possible resolution out of my lens, which is the middle aperture. And if you use the exposure compensation, you can expose for the white, still capture all this detail without it getting blown out. And you can see the detail in the paint and in the rust and everything else. So what you want to do is, again, the advantage of a tripod, that can be, it's that sharp. And if you blow it up, you're going to retain all that detail and information. Again, this is a color photograph, and it's just an example of looking for patterns, shapes, and colors. Let me give you another example along those lines. This is a shot of stairs on an oil storage tank. It's in Port Angeles, Washington. It's an oil refinery. I saw this from across the bay. They had just painted the tanks. They were glossy white. the sun was hitting it, blasting, out the reflection. You can't even see the rivets. And I came over, asked the refinery people if I could come in and take a shot. This is from film days. By the way, this little doohickey up here is when I color corrected the image, and because I don't know Photoshop, I don't know how to really get rid of that. But this was a case where I spot metered here. I knew the camera was going to see gray, and so I opened up 2 stops to make it white. And in this case, I was actually shooting VPS 160 film. What I want to do is show you, move in close here, and so you can see the stairs coming out, going up to an angle. And as you come down, you see the shadows are changing. And the stairs are actually now going in the other direction. So the photo lesson here, I guess, is, in my mind, what I saw was a color photograph that looked black and white, almost like a pen and ink drawing. And it was just a series of abstract lines and shapes and shadows that made for an interesting photo that people would say, what the hell is that? In that same vein, these are stairs on a holding tank for a brewery. I saw this particular image out of the corner of my eye from the interstate, and I got off the next exit, went to the brewery, and went in back. And what I liked about this thing was, my construction friends call this a back scratcher. These stairs, you have this round thing to prevent you from falling backwards. Only half of these black lines are real. The other half are shadows. When I took this shot, I zoomed in so nothing extraneous was in the shot. And I opened up about stop and a half, stop and 2/3. Again, this is a color photograph, but to me, it was just an interesting series of lines, shapes, patterns, shadows. And the trick here is, if that catches your eye and that's what's calling out to you and that's what's important, make sure it fills the frame of your photograph. You don't need to stand way back and have it just be a little part of the image with a lot of distracting elements all around it. Move in close, zoom in close. Whatever is important and called out to you, make sure that's the main thing of the image, and that's what your shot is of. Anyway, lesson for today: have fun, keep shooting, look up, look down, especially out of the corner of your eye, and we'll see you next time. My young computer savvy assistant reminds me that it's really important to ask for likes and subscribes, but I would also love some comments below discussing what we're diving into and what you might want to see in the future. With all that out of the way, thanks for watching and thanks for your patience. See you next episode.